Another month and another absolute fire Record of Ragnarok manga chapter. Today we have my chapter 50 review, featuring stuff like the reveal of a new long-awaited god. Not one that's officially fighting in the tournament, but one we've been waiting to see for a good while at this point. Hajun, being an absolute savage, reveals all around regarding Buddha, Hajun, various other characters. This chapter was, peak yet again. As always, links are posted in the Discord when they're out. Hope you enjoy. Let's begin. I've been covering Record of Ragnarok as a series now for over a year, so make sure to subscribe if you enjoy chapter reviews, what if battles, explain videos, and much more to come. The title of the chapter is A Dark Cloud Hangs, with Hajun's appearance actually morphing, everything around them. And we actually get like a further back view of the arena that they're, using for the Ragnarok tournament, seeing not really what I expected to be around them, just like mountains. And of course the sky pretty much turning into this dark void due to Hajun's arrival. And we see the ring as well being very, ominous and all that. We see Buddha looking very serious with his short sword transformation out, and Hajun just standing there with this insanely cool looking aura around him as he just looks down on Buddha. We cut to Brunhilde and Gull, who of course are freaking out. Gull shaking from the presence of that thing, and then she's trying to ask Brunhilde, what is this creature? And her response, I have no idea, which of course makes Gull freak out even more. And it's pretty incredible that Brunhilde as well has no idea who this creature Hajun is. We have Buddha asking him what happened to Zero. Hajun saying he is gone. He is nowhere to be found in this world. My name is Hajun. Then Buddha asks him the question we all want to know. What are you? And then the, perfect response. I myself do not know. However, I think that I want to try these powers out now. So, Hajun's getting ready to, start up the fight. We have Loki asking Odin what's the deal with this thing. Odin just, complete silence and does look, a bit puzzled. So I'm guessing Odin has no idea what Hajun is as well. We cut to, Zeus, Hermes, and Ares. We have Ares asking Hermes what's going on here. Even more shocking than Brunhilde not knowing, Hermes as well has no idea what Hajun is, which is, the first time in the whole series. So, that's pretty incredible. And then we see some, feet walking behind those three, with the person saying, that is no god. Ares turns around and begins to sweat and show fierce, saying, why are you here? The person, responds to Ares, how long are you going to keep sitting there? That is my seat. Then instantly Ares pops up out of the seat, showing an extremely scared face, and someone sits down, and we get the reveal. This is Hades, the older brother of Zeus, Poseidon, Adamas, and pretty much, I'm guessing, the oldest Greek god currently in the Ragnarok story. So yeah, pretty cool. His design, of course, looks very similar to the likes of Poseidon, as he is, the older brother of Poseidon. I'm guessing Zeus was maybe aged in his fight with Kronos or some other thing. That's why Zeus doesn't really look like him, but regardless, he looks very badass. Has that drip game, close to Jack the Ripper levels. We got this weird thing over his eye. Maybe that's to do with his power or something like that. He has these earrings, and just as a whole is dripped out. We have Hermes asking him what brings him to Valhalla, and then his response, I heard that my younger brother lost. And of course that's referring to Poseidon. We see Ares absolute, I don't even know what to say about this face. This is this next level fear, shock. This Ares is probably going to have a heart attack any second now. He can't handle this. And I'm pretty sure the authors are pretty much giving up on Ares at this point. They have all these moments throughout the series of, Ares getting shit on, making, us the readers believe Ares is absolute trash. But then they have some redeeming qualities here and there. But now they're going, all out. Ares is, the bottom tier trash. We then have Hades, who begins to talk a little bit about Poseidon, but before he can continue talking, we have probably my favorite line from this chapter. We have Zeus coming and saying, we don't talk about that around here anymore, referring to Poseidon. So yeah, Zeus just being an absolute crazy savage, and then gets straight to the point about Hajun. You said that was no god, then you know what it is? His response, just pretty interesting dynamic between these two, which I like to see. You haven't changed one bit, little brother. Calm down for a minute. So, Zeus is getting a little bit excited about, the appearance of Hajun here. And then we have Hades who explains some more about Hajun. That is a legendary berserker. Spoken of in, this is another word for hell, the underworld, everything like that, since ancient times. Then we get some world building for Ragnarok, which is pretty cool. Across all mythologies is the common theme of a three-layered world. The world where gods and the souls of the dead dwell, Valhalla, where they're currently at. The world of humans and animals, and the underworld, hell, demon world, everything like that. And we actually see, all these demonic creatures in, the netherworld here, such as, maybe a young Cerberus potentially, these dragons and all these other demonic-like creatures, which may be connected to Beelzebub somewhat. We still don't know his whole connection to everything here, but Hades mentions the same legend about Hajun that Beelzebub mentioned. At white light and black shadow blending, the horns of the netherworld shall awaken, and eternal darkness shall be born. Otherwise called Demon Lord of the Sixth Heaven, Hajun. So the same story that Beelzebub told us. So the only two characters so far who seem to know of the legend of Hajun. We have Hermes who questions that, in other words, Lord Hades, you have something to do with it. And then he, confirms it. Even as the ruler of the underworld, we get it confirmed that he's the ruler of, hell and everything like that. I must admit, I've never seen it before. So Hades has never actually seen Hajun, so I'm guessing he has no direct involvement with, the reason Hajun is appearing, why he was most likely sealed in Zero, or anything like that. With him also questioning what led a meager god from Valhalla to become the legendary Hajun. So he's questioning why Zero actually became Hajun and everything like that. I do currently think it's connected to maybe someone else. It's pretty much confirmed here that Hades has no involvement in the arrival of Hajun here. It was kind of implied with Beelzebub that he's aware of it but doesn't really know what happened to it. I'm guessing Beelzebub had actually seen it in the past but hadn't actually been involved in the sealing or anything to really do with Hajun. And as a whole, the reveal of Hades, the whole explanation of everything he knows about Hajun was very well done, very enjoyable, and a reminder that Hades is a drift lord as well. But from there we cut to Buddha and Hajun, who are getting ready to fight one another. We got Hajun talking about how he's not accustomed to this, so we don't actually know how long he's been sealed away or how long it's been since he's actually appeared, apart from the legend Hades and Beelzebub talked about. And then we see that he can actually transform his skin or one of his arms into a blade or potentially any other weapons, which is very cool. He does this, which instantly freaks out Buddha. The reason for him freaking out more so is most likely due to his future vision still not working against Hajun, which will be explained soon. We see a pretty much size comparison between Buddha and Hajun, and I think it's probably safe to say so far out of the fighters, Hajun is the biggest and one of the coolest looking guys around. And him going for a, slash on Buddha. Buddha's barely able to block it in time and counter all the other, attacks Hajun's using on him. With him also stating that he's surprised that Buddha's actually able to block those attacks. So at this point, Hajun is kind of still playing around with Buddha, not really going all out. But we see that they're relatively equal, and we have Goal who's questioning whether Buddha's still able to keep up with him due to his future sight, with Brynhilde saying, no, if I had to say, he cannot see them, referring to Hajun's moves. He does not perceive any light from Hajun, it's complete darkness, and then we get a better explanation. So Buddha's 8 consciousness is able to see fluctuations of the soul. So when a person decides on a course of action to do, the person's soul or will actually move before the body. So Buddha pretty much sees movements of light to, predict where someone is going to go. But unlike everyone else Buddha has met, Hajun doesn't have this soul or light. Hajun is unreadable to Buddha due to being, I'm guessing, supreme darkness and everything like that. So Buddha's future vision does not work against Hajun, and that's why he saw complete darkness last chapter when, you know, the arrival of Hajun actually happened. From there, we see an exchange between the two, but Buddha was actually able to win that exchange by getting a direct kick on Hajun, sending him back. But we also see Buddha sweating and huffing and puffing, showing how, you know, intense the fight with Hajun currently is. We have Hajun who, you know, praises Buddha again, amazing. Then I think I shall fight at maximum output. We have him transforming his, you know, blade, you know, weapon thing into this like twisting blade going over his arm. Divine Retribution. Heaven piercing demon drill, and probably the coolest looking panel of today's chapter, looking absolutely badass. This crazy spinning OP punch. From there we have Buddha using his 6-round staff to transform into the shield version to try and block this. As we know, he was able to easily block Zero's, you know, giant attack that covered the whole arena a few chapters ago. Let's see if it can block Hajun's, I'm guessing, most powerful punch, the Heaven Piercing Demon Drill. Pretty badass name as well. We see them clashing one another, a big explosion as they clash. We see actually Jesus and the other sages again down here, which is, you know, good to see, showing the impact of that attack. We see Loki and Odin, you know, getting flung back a little bit, Gol and Brunhilde, and just look at Gol's face here, this quite wide. We see, you know, smoke going everywhere, the smoke clears up. We have Hajun saying, my, with his blade actually somewhat bending or something from that attack. But then we see that he's actually pierced Buddha's shield and has taken out one of Buddha's eyes. And then from there, he starts laughing like an absolute psycho. And that is the end of today's chapter. So, one of the few times we've actually seen a divine weapon, or I believe this is the first time we've actually seen a god's weapon actually get broken. We did see Sasaki's sword get broken by Poseidon, but now Hajun has pretty much pierced Buddha's shield, which is very incredible, and taken out one of his eyes. So yeah, I'm guessing from now this fight is going to be super high difficulty. I do still think Buddha is going to win this, but of course he's going to take an insane amount of damage, like probably the hardest fight, if not one of the hardest fights so far in the tournament upcoming. He still has a few more transformations of his weapon to most likely use to overcome Hajun. But yeah, this chapter was absolute hype. Cannot wait for the next one. This fight is turning out to be one of the best. And that should be everything for today's review breakdown video. Hope you enjoyed. As always, shout out to the people who support the channel via the Patreon. If you want to support as well, check it out, linked in the description. But yep, that's it guys. Peace.